It started as a thrill-seeking adventure. 5 friends, Mark, Sarah, Jason, Emily, and Kevin, had always dared each other to explore haunted places. This time, Jason claimed he had found something unique, an abandoned cemetery deep in the woods, not listed on any map and seemingly forgotten by time. The group packed their gear and set out on a weekend trip, hiking through miles of dense forest before stumbling upon the eerie sight. The tombstones were old, crumbling, and covered in moss. Some were so weathered that the names were completely erased, as if history itself had given up on remembering the dead. As night fell, the atmosphere grew heavy. The friends set up their tents and built a fire, laughing and sharing ghost stories, unaware they were becoming part of one. At midnight, Emily heard whispers. At first, she thought it was the wind, but soon the voices became distinct. They weren't speaking English, nor any language she recognized. She nudged Mark, who dismissed it as her imagination. But then, Kevin screamed. The group turned to see him standing rigid, staring at a particular grave. His flashlight flickered, casting strange shadows across the tombstone. "Something moved," he stammered. The others dismissed it, but unease settled in. A few hours later, Jason needed to use the bathroom. He stepped away from camp, flashlight in hand, and walked past the graves. That's when he saw it, a figure standing between the trees. It wasn't one of his friends. It was tall, unnaturally thin, and completely still. He blinked, and it was suddenly closer. Jason bolted back to camp, breathless. Before he could explain, a long, guttural sigh echoed from the darkness. The fire dimmed, the air turned frigid, the whispers grew louder. Then the real horror began. The tents collapsed as if something invisible had trampled them. The fire suddenly snuffed out, plunging them into complete darkness. Panic set in. They scrambled for their flashlights, but no matter where they pointed them, the beam seemed weaker, as if the light was being swallowed by the night itself. Then Sarah was pulled back. She let out a scream as unseen hands yanked her toward the graves. The others lunged forward, grabbing her arms just in time. She gasped, looking behind her. Her footprints vanished, as if she had never stood there. The group didn't stay to find out what was hunting them. They grabbed only what they could and ran. The way back felt longer, the trees seemed to move, and those whispers followed them. When they finally burst out of the woods at dawn, they collapsed in exhaustion. None of them spoke about what happened that night, until years later, when Kevin, out of morbid curiosity, tried to find the cemetery on satellite maps. It wasn't there. No records. No graveyard. No proof it had ever existed. But when he checked his camping photos, there was something behind them in every picture. A tall, thin figure standing just at the tree line, watching.